Monday Ramble.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Monday Ramble with me, Tom Ball from Sun Racing and Chad Yeomans of Betway. We're going to look back on some of the weekend's racing and ahead to some of the racing we're going to expect on Saturday and Sunday, where of course it is the Investec Derby, the Investec Oaks and the Coral Eclipse. Looking back, first of all, we're going to have a little chat about the Betfair Northumberland Plate, which was a race that really saw those at the front of the race benefit. There weren't too many that got into it from behind. It was battle of the two 4-year-olds, Caravan of Hope and Australis, who, like they did at Wolverhampton, fought it out hammer and tongs to the line, and it was Caravan of Hope who ended up doing the business. Chad, what was your little take on the race? Do you think the front two have got more to come? They were a long way ahead of the rest. How do you think it kind of will work out in the future?
First of all, congratulations for putting this one up. I know you like this one. And also putting up Judicial race before the Gossip Park or the Chip Chase.
Thanks, mate. Very nice for you to say so. Very nice.
No, it was good. It's good. So I'm glad for that. I was actually quite taken by the winner. I thought travelled nicely, quickened, and then outstayed the rest of the field. I thought it was a really good performance. And I do think this is going to be his level. I don't think he's going to make him into a cup horse. I just think he's going to be winning these big staying handicaps. I don't think he's going to make it into group class-ish, to be honest. I thought Australia's okay, still lightly raced. Again, might come forward, but is only ever going to be a handicapper as far as I can see. I thought Collide ran well, especially giving over a stone away to those first two.
Yes.
The way he moved into it, he looked like he was going to win 2 out because he was still there lobbing along on the bridle. But obviously, that weight took its toll. But he still stayed on through the line. So there'll definitely be other days in him. But then the rest of them, they were beaten and they were beaten. They were strung out like washing, weren't they? And I'm just not convinced it was the best race. And I think they are just going to stay as handicappers. I don't know what you think, Bully.
Yeah, I don't think it was the best race in the world. I tend to slightly disagree with you about Caravan of Hope in the fact that I think he could progress into a group performer in time, particularly as the staying division at group level is so weak, obviously Stradivarius aside. So we'll see what happens later in the season. He needs to improve around a stone and a half, or maybe a stone, to really mix it at the top level with the staying horse at the top. So I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility he can do that. I think Australis needs a drop back in trip. I think he travels really well and didn't quite get the last 2 furlongs. I think something like, a mile 3/4 is perfect for him. So we'll see what happens to him later in the season. I agree with you with Collide. I think he produced a massive run. He's got a bill, a lot of weight to carry. And Cosmelli, who finished 4th, I think he just needs to come down in the handicap a little bit because he's just always there or thereabouts and never really gets a kind of leniency from the handicapper. So, yeah, I think the right horses were at the right end of the race. Yeah. I think that they're the two most progressive horses in a contest. And I agree with you. I think it's a particularly strong race. And I think there are a lot. I mean, if you look at how far they were strung out towards the end of the race, I think it just suggests that, there were plenty in there who really had full-on hopes of winning the race. So I'd be inclined to take the top 3 going forward, and that's about it.
Yeah, I tend to agree, mate.
Lovely. Now moving on to the Irish Derby, where we saw Santiago follow up his Queen's Var success at Royal Ascot. In some style, to be fair, Tiger Moth coming with a late flourish to finish second, almost got there, but Santiago pulled out a bit more. A very game performance considering it was only a week or so after his Royal Ascot exertions. Clearly a horse that can take his racing, and a brilliant performance by trainer Aidan O'Brien to get him back and raring to go as he did. 3rd and 4th also went to Aidan O'Brien train runners. Chad, what was your thought on the race? Do you think it was a strong Irish Derby, a weak Irish Derby? And do you think the front 2 are by far the best going forward?
To answer your first question, I think it's one of the weakest Group 1s I've ever seen, especially in terms of classic. I've got the screen up here. I've got on another screen of where they finished. Now, if you looked at that field and you said to me that was a Class 2 handicap, while some of the handicap marks, that was a listed race. Let's go with that because that's probably a bit more feasible to handicap marks. But in terms of what the horses have actually achieved, you wouldn't be surprised at all. That's poor race. And the fact Santiago, I mean, yes, he won and he won well, don't get me wrong, because he outstayed them. He's a legend. The fact he beat 2 maidens into 2nd and 3rd. I mean, is Order of Australia a maiden still? Yeah.
Order of Australia is, yeah.
So the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, Fiscal Rules is in 5th. So the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th are all maidens, and the 6th Gold Maze is a maiden. New York Girls at 4, that's the 7th. The 8th Sun Chart has won once. So out of the
I think Tiger Moth Tiger Moth win his maiden though? I think he did, didn't he?
Yes, sorry, you're spot on. Yeah, sorry, Tiger Moth did, but after that, then the 3rd, 4th.
After that, yeah.
Maiden. The 2nd, 7th, and 8th have only won 3 races between them, 1 race each. That isn't stellar form. That is not stellar form whatsoever. And Santiago looks like a ledger horse in the fact that he looks like he can take his races, as you say. He'll stay, and he just keeps galloping and keeps galloping and keeps galloping. And if he likes heavy ground, which so often is at Donny in September, he could be really tough to beat, especially when you look at what is in the market now. English King, Frankly Darling, a few of them, we just go, that won't stay, too quick, what's better ground. And you can start piecing them out, and actually you can make him a bit more of a solid favourite for that. But he didn't beat an awful lot. Again, I have to go back to his Ascot race. It didn't seem to beat, wasn't the best race. But you can only beat what you're up against, I guess. But I'd be inclined to take on the rest of that field.
Yep, I completely agree with you. I think it was a very, very weak race. I was disappointed by a couple of performances, notably from Crossfire Hurricane, who I thought ran really below par. Yeah. There are a couple in behind who I think have got bigger futures than they showed that day. But I agree with you, very, very weak Group 1. We all knew that beforehand. It's just the way it falls in the calendar this year. It's pretty unlucky, really. And I think the fact that Santiago was able to win that after a Queen's Vase win just shows the strength of the race. Now, it's interesting. The line of form is interesting, isn't it? With Santiago having beaten Berkshire Rocker at Royal Ascot, with Berkshire Rocker having been beaten by English King at Lingfield. So if you're taking it on face value, then English King is probably a little bit better than Santiago, which would say, how good is that form really? We don't know. But then Berkshire Rocker might have needed the run at Lingfield, so it's difficult to say. But all in all, I think Tiger Moth produced a massive run. I think he really improved. I think Santiago probably slightly improved on his Queen's Vase win, and I think those two were quite clearly the best horses in the race and probably the best horses going forward. I'd give another chance to Crossfire Hurricane. I would also give another chance to Fiscal Rules, who I think wasn't really in best position, hung a little bit. So I think he's worth another shot. And obviously the two in behind, 3rd and 4th.
Instead of trying to go for Group 1 glory, go and win
a
race, get him confidence, get him learning how to race properly, because his experiences at the moment have always been not the best of experiences on a race course. So go and get him in front, get him learning how to go past horses and stay on, and then build upwards. I think that'll be the way with him.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with the same comments apply to both the 3rd and the 4th place horses. So, but yeah, I think all in all, not particularly strong race, but I think the front two are probably decent horses going forward. Great. Moving on to the weekend coming, which sees the Investec Derby, among many other deliciously exciting races. It really is a cracking weekend in prospect. We obviously have English King heading the market at around about the 2-1 mark. We also have Kamako, the Guineas winner, in hot pursuit, if you will. We also have the likes of Russian Emperor, Mogul, and Vatican City, all of whom are likely to run for Aidan O'Brien. He also has a couple more in there, one of which I'm not going to try and pronounce, and an impressive winner last weekend. Sorry?
Uran Naveen.
That is.
Uran Naveen, yeah. It's the Irish national.
Oh, very good, very good. And then there's likes of William Muir's Pile Driver. What a story that would be. Highland Chief, who won at Royal Ascot. And also, the two that no one seems to be talking about, really, are Khalifa Sat and Emissary, who contested the Cocked Hat Stakes at Goodwood. Chad, what is the Derby winner?
I change my mind on this so often. I think English King's a good horse. I'm not as taken as everybody else was at Lingfield. The ground was rattling quick, and they went fast, and he was able to do the fractions down the back straight that he did, and then he quickened up and won easily. But again, I don't think what he beat was brilliant, and I think if in any other year you had any other Derby favourite, I think Kamiko would have done it, would have beaten them even further, providing that he stayed. It's not. I don't think it was a performance that only this horse could do. I don't think it was a superstar performance. I just thought he was better than the rest, and that's fair. Obviously, he's got Frank Dettori on board, which is a massive plus. But he still has to improve for me. Still has to improve. I think if Kamiko stays, he'll win the race. he's the best horse in the race, hands down. He's got the most speed, he's probably got the best temperament. It's just whether he stays. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he's not the best horse if he doesn't stay. But I do think on natural talent and natural ability, he's the best horse in the race, without doubt. But you are banking on him staying. He's never been further than a mile, although he did get a mile at 2, which usually bodes quite well. And if you go back into the pedigree, he's related to Alderbrook, who's a champion hurdle winner. I mean, we are like plucking thin hairs here to try and find something for him to say that he will stay. But he's the best horse in the race. He's got classic winning 4, Group 1 winner at 2. I mean, what more can you ask for from a Derby candidate? It's just that question mark around whether he'll stay. I can put a line through so many of them. Some of the others you named, Bully, I do think I can put a line through. I don't think Pile Drive is good enough. You know, it's good that he's finished second in the classic trial and then won at Ascot, but I still don't think he's good enough. Worthily, I wouldn't have. The other one, just looking down the list now, I like Mogul. I know he was beaten at Ascot, but he was big. Big horse. And I think he'll improve for that race at Ascot. I really do. What do you fancy, Bob?
Lovely summary. I completely agree with you. Kameko by far the best horse in the race, and if he stays, he'll win. I think that's. I actually also think he doesn't necessarily need to be at his absolute best if he does stay to win this race, because I think he has got a lot of class. Yeah. Hopefully, he will stay. I think he's the most likely winner, personally. I think English King has looked very impressive on what he's beaten so far, but then the question remains, what has he beaten? And it's, apart from Antti van der Dijk, you had to go a long way back before to get the last Lingfield Derby trial when he then won the Derby. Now, looking at the Aidan O'Brien runners, I'd be most keen on Russian Emperor because I think he's getting better every run. And I think this 1 mile 4 is going to really suit him. So he'd be my pick of the Aidan O'Brien runners. I also think Serpentine is worth a mention, despite the fact he's more likely to be a ledger horse later on in the season. He really impressed me at the weekend. I thought he strided out really nicely at the Curragh. And the other one to mention is, for me, Pile Driver. I know you said that you don't think he's going to win on Saturday, but I thought he was pretty impressive at Ascot, and he's improving all the time. He beat Arthur's Kingdom that day, and he also beat Mogul, who was back in the field. I know, obviously, Mogul definitely not fit enough, but I would definitely have Pile Driver as up there, being better than a 16-1 shot. If he wasn't trained by William Muir and he was trained by John Gosden, then you'd be saying, oh, he'll be 7 or 8 to 1. But I think Kameko is definitely the most likely winner on Saturday, so I agree with you there, definitely. Lovely. Now, moving on to the investor. Go on.
Do you think Pile Driver will finish in front of Mogul?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
I do. Yeah, I do. Yes, yeah. I think the only way you can say, I think Mogul needs to find an awful lot to improve, because I think Pile Driver will improve again, and he's already rated 110. And if he finds another £5 or £6, which he's quite entitled to do, particularly over the trip, then I can see, he could definitely be up there at the end of the race. I mean, I know he's not trained by a fashionable trainer, and that's why. Huh?
Can we have a 5?
Say again?
Yeah, I'll have Mogul, you have Pile Driver.
Yeah, sure thing. No, absolutely. I'm very keen on that.
Let's go with that.
That would be tremendous. But no, I think that's the way I'm leaning anyway. I think Kameko to win, and Serpentine and Pile Driver to run big races in behind, and I think Russian Emperor will probably run well too. Lovely. Okay, Investec Coach. Sorry, Investec Oaks time. Only 11 in the race, which is possibly slightly disappointing, but the right ones are in there, aren't they? So Love heads the market, very short price favourite she is, and Frankly Darling 2 to 1 behind her. Then you've got to go back to Peaceful, and then it's pretty much any price of the others, isn't it, Chad? What do you think is going to happen in this race?
I can't see anything but Love. I honestly can't see Love getting beat. I was watching the 1,000 Guineas back at the weekend to try and get a few lines of form. Ever since the get-go, you could have called Love the winner. Absolutely, from the get-go, could have been called the winner. Obviously, there's a question mark at will she stay, but looking at her form line, she's like Galileo. There's just, you'd say yes, she'll stay. I do like Peaceful and Passion in the sense that I backed Manchester at huge prices February, March. So I'd love to see one of them win. I really would. But whether it will happen is beyond. I'd say at this stage, I'd rather be with Love. I'll also look at Queen Daenerys for Roger Varian. I think that means something to Game of Thrones, but it means nothing to me. She finished second on David Cloaker's Spirit, and she looked good that day. She looked strong, but she just came on. She'll come on for the run, of which she did. She won next time out, stayed on really well over a mile, and then she was plugged on gamely behind Quadrilateral in the Fillies mile, but they just went too quick. She just looked like a needed to go further. And then she came back and had one run this season. She was beaten 3.5 lengths by a horse called Run Wild. Now, Run Wild went from the front when everything was winning from the front and just took it out of the field. And nothing else would have got in the race. I think that Run Wild was well beaten at Ascot. She just stayed on, and I always thought when she goes up in trip, she's got a little bit of an ability, but she's more of she'll just keep staying, she'll keep going. So if the race falls apart, I think 25 to 1, she's a cracking each way bet.
Yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't put you off at all. Second time after a wind up, nothing not to like there. I tend to think that the Frankly Darling race, Ribblesdale, that she won at Royal Ascot, was not necessarily particularly strong. The big thing that she has, the plus side on her side, is the fact we know she's going to stay, and the fact she's running obviously for Frankie Dettori and John Gosden. But I'd be inclined to lean towards Love and Peaceful as the ones who are going to fight it out. I was really impressed with Peaceful's Guineas win over in Ireland, and obviously you couldn't help but be impressed with Love's performance at Newmarket. So I think those are the two that are going to fight it out. Aidan O'Brien, you'd think his Love is going to be his first choice in the race, and jockeys' bookings, I imagine, will say that as well. But I wouldn't discount Peaceful at all. I think she's a very exciting filly, and she's only had 4 starts. And the way that she won that Guinea suggests she should really make a good fist of staying this longer trip. So the two for me are Love and Peaceful, and at the prices I would side with Peaceful, I think.
Do you think, Bully, that Peaceful will go, or do you think she'll go to France? Because I think she's only one entry in the French Oaks for Aidan, I believe.
Aidan, yeah, I've been up second guessing what Aidan O'Brien's going to do these days. I hope she runs in the Oaks in England. Yeah. But I wouldn't be at all surprised if they went to France, because she'd have a very, very good chance there as well. Yeah. If I were the owners, I'd want to split them up. But then how many times have we seen an Epsom race where they have 3 or 4 or 5 horses in the race? So it's difficult to say. But if Peaceful does run, then I'd be leaning towards her at the prices.
Perfect.
And if she doesn't, then Love all the way.
Yeah.
So
in France.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Right, and lastly, the Eclipse on Sunday, which could be an absolutely epic race, which features Enable's return, the wonderful super horse that we all know so well, who couldn't quite do the bit in last year's Arc, but comes here a very strong favourite to get back to winning ways in the Eclipse. Now, she has got to take on Guyarth, who was the most impressive winner of the Coronation Cup last time out, as well as Lord North, a fantastic winner of the Prince of Wales Estate at Royal Ascot, and a few others, including Japan, who comes here on a slight recovery mission, but definitely has plenty of potential left for Aidan O'Brien, Deirdre for Japan, and a few others. So, Chad, what's your take on this race? It's an absolute cracker, isn't it?
All right, if they all line up, what a race we've got in store. As racing fans, this is exactly the kind of race you want. 4 or 5, 6 horses that have all got a brilliant chance. Then you've got a couple of outsiders, Magic One, Regal Reality, and Bangkok. Well, Bangkok wasn't far off Ascot, but you just say he has a little bit to find with the other two. But if you get Deirdre, who was a really good winner at Goodwood last summer, she's probably underrated, if I'm being brutally honest. I think her price reflects her being underrated. She's got a cracking chance. She's on her A game. Enable, as she's a 6-year-old, it's just going to get harder and harder for her to win. Group 1, first time up. She is exceptional, don't get me wrong. She has done it year on year. But again, she's not getting any younger. So I'd have to, at the prices, just I'd rather not back her. I'd rather not have a bet in the race, if that, as opposed to trying to back a 5-4 shot. Gayeth, I've never been taken by this horse, ever. He never seems to run 2 races together. His win in the Coronation Cup was brilliant. The times all suggest that was good. But all the times that weekend were brilliant, because it was rattling quick. He went from the front. Nothing could get involved. Nothing could get in a rhythm in behind. I personally just can't have the horse. If he does it again, he might be something for the Arc. or something for a bit later on that I might be able to have more confidence in him. But doing it now, I don't know. I just, it wouldn't be for me, especially at 5-2. Lord North has to improve, the best part of a stone on his best form to get in line with what Enable's achieved. Well, not maybe half a stone's probably a bit more fair. So I'd have to say he'd have to improve. And will he improve that much from Ascot 2 weeks ago, which was only 10 days out from the Brigadier Gerard? It's a lot of improvement in 2 or 3 runs. I don't know if you feel the same. And also, but then Japan, if Japan, who was disappointed at Ascot, comes back to the form he was in when he won the International last year, he is massively overpriced and is a huge, it's got a proper huge chance. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with what you say. At Japan, he definitely have a big chance if bouncing back to his best, which is quite possible. I think Guy Arth is a very, 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 very good horse. I think he's a really, really good horse, and I think at a track like Newmarket, he'd probably win this race. But I think he needs a much more galloping track than he's going to get at Sandown. I don't think the bend is going to suit him. And I think he will go off like the clappers and get tired in the closing stages, and he just won't have the speed, possibly, to beat the better horses in this race. Enable's going to take an awful lot of beating, but I think Lord North will beat her. I really do. I think he was so impressive at Ascot. I mean, you can put holes in that form. You absolutely can. But he did beat Group 1 horses, and he didn't just beat them though. He absolutely cleared away from them, and it was really like that turn of foot was really taking. You're right in the fact it's only 10 days or so after, but say again? Do
you think the race was set up for him? And the fact that Japan drifted from odds on out to 6-4 was clearly in need of a run. Aidan does that. Aidan, if you look at a lot of his horses, he'll run his horses to get them fit as opposed to trying to get them fit at home. He'll give them race course. He doesn't mind losing where he knows that'll get them fitter than what he can get them at home.
Oh, sure, for sure. Oh no, I agree with you completely. But I mean, he still saw off Addeybb and Barney Roy with very easily. Yeah. I mean, these aren't mugs. Addeybb is. I know it wasn't soft enough for Addeybb, but even on better ground, he's not a mug. Lord North had £10 to find with him on ratings and absolutely blew him away. So I couldn't have been more impressed with him. Often I find races like that, if a horse blows you away visually, and you think to yourself, like I did after the race, I thought, my goodness me, we've just seen a new star. Yeah. Then you should just go with what you think. You go with your gut. Because there's only a certain amount of look. You can look into the ratings as much as you want, how strong the form is. But let's be honest, this is a Group 1 level. It wasn't a bad Group 1. It's not an amazing Group 1, but it wasn't bad. And Lord North, it was his first start in a Group 1. It was his first start in a Group 1 or a Group 2. He'd only won the Brigadier Gerard. The fact that he's improving at a rate of knots, I think 10 days afterwards is going to be fine for him. I could see him improving again. I could see him winning this. I think he needs to be given the perfect ride. He's got that really sharp turn of foot at the end of his race, which is unlike Enable, who likes to kind of grind her races out, doesn't she, from the prominent position. So I think it will be an interesting tactic affair with both runners coming from the Gosden stable. The obviously slight concern is who's going to ride, but hopefully it'll be the Doiler on Lord North, and I think he's going to put it up to Enable. It's a really, really good race. I don't think the others have got any sort of a chance, really. I think Japan needs to show an awful lot more. As I say, it is possible. Guy Arthur will get tired. Deirdre, I think, needs to improve. She's a very, very smart mare, but I think she does need to improve. And then I think Magic Wand will need rattling fast ground, and not necessarily going to get that. Regal Reality is not good enough. So for me, it's Lord North and Enable to fight it out, and I think Lord North could just have the upper hand this time. Enable, 6 years old, coming back from a long break. This could just be the time to find her out, I think.
Thanks.
But that's just my opinion.
No, this is what's so good about the game is that everyone's got a battle. It is a battle of opinions, as sport is in general. What an exciting race it is, Bully. If we can get all these going to post, Japan comes over. Lord North, who's improved or improving. Again, the worry about Lord North is he's had 2 races, or this will be his 3rd race in 28 days of good quality racing. That's, for me, it's a lot for an improving 4-year-old. That's my big gripe is, can he improve that? Do I think he'll be rated £6 hard by the end of the year? Yeah, I do. But by September, do I think he will by 5th of July? 6th of July? No. I think he's got a step too far. But it's again, this is what it's all about, and I'm looking forward to the racing. It's a perfect weekend for racing fans, having the Oaks of the Derby on Saturday, the Eclipse on Sunday. What more could we all ask for, mate? What more could we all ask for?
Well, you're not wrong. The only thing I would ask for potentially is that the 3-year-olds were allowed to run the Eclipse, but obviously they can't this year, which is a shame. But you can't have everything. One thing that really is fascinating is to see how all these top-class horses do get on with these close-knit runs, close together, consecutive runs, because we haven't seen that before. They have to be run in quick succession now, which is something we're not used to. And as we saw with Santiago, it worked for him. Whether or not it'll work for Lord North is up for the debate, but it definitely adds a more interesting angle, doesn't it? Because you never know. It actually might help some horses. Santiago might be the kind of horse who actually needs to be run more often.
Yeah.
You look at how many horses Mark Johnston's trained in the past, and they benefit from being run almost every day. So, yeah, I won't put that against Lord North. It's definitely a problem that could arise, but until we see it, I'm not going to say that would be a reason for him to get beaten. But we'll see. That's the great thing. Only a few days out now. Great stuff, Chad. Thank you so much.
As always.
Oaks, yeah, indeed, very much so. Oakston Derby and Eclipse to look forward to this weekend, and hopefully you guys have got more of an idea of how the races will pan out now that we've done the lovely Monday ramble. So, Chad, thank you very much. Speak to you all soon.
Cheers.
Love it.